Welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes, where we peel back the curtain to discover how folks are using video and Vidyard to accelerate their business and make more human connections. My name is Olivia. I'm a content marketer at Vidyard, and I will be your host for today. My apologies for the brief delay there. We had a little bit of technical difficulties connecting to our LinkedIn stream, but I see folks are starting to join on that platform now. So no further delays, because I'm very, very excited about our guest today. I've got my This Barbie is a Revenue Leader t-shirt on in honor of our guest today. Shout out Rollworks ABM, because not only does our guest today have this same shirt, but that's exactly who she is. She's queen of demand gen, spearheading innovation in ABM here at Vidyard. Sophie, welcome to the Behind the Scenes. Excited to have you on here. How you doing?
Hi, Olivia. I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on. Excited to do this.
We're excited to have you. Folks, we have a lot to talk about today, and I have a ton of questions for you, Sophie. But before we get started, I just want to remind our audience that we are also taking questions from viewers on all platforms. So just add your questions in the comments section, and we can throw them on the screen and get to them. All right, you ready?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go.
All right, Sophie, tell me about your role at Vidyard. I want to know what you do and what you love most about your role.
Yeah, so at Vidyard, I am focused on all things ABM, everything from foundations and scoring all the way up to campaign strategy, launch, reporting. So that's a little bit about my day today. I think what's really cool about ABM to me is the way that the strategy and creativity really meshes well with automation and data. So it keeps things really fun and interesting.
Yeah, you are like logistics, numbers, data meets the creative side of marketing, and the kind of the marriage of the two. It's such a cool area to be in. So obviously we're going to talk about video. Starting first with you personally, what are the ways that you use video in your role?
Yeah, I think just contextually too, Vidyard has a really cool PLG motion, so product-led growth. So the way we've set up our own foundations for ABM has included not only our go-to-market engagement in order to score up accounts, but we've also included any sort of engagement with our product too. So just as kind of like a background to anyone watching, that's kind of how we've set up our own ABM program. And so in terms of how I use video in my own role, the biggest thing would be internal comms. So that would be any sort of day-to-day communications. Sales enablement is a really big one. Co-marketing campaigns with partners, and then even just team-based projects. I have this joke kind of that if, you know how people say this email or this meeting could have been an email, I kind of say that this meeting could have been a Vidyard. So where I can, I will replace a meeting with a Vidyard. Externally, my favorite ABM use of Vidyard is video embedded into email campaigns. It's so simple and easy to set up. And a good example would be after an event or a webinar. We already have that recording, and the account-based scoring will help, or the video will help to score up. So we can use any sort of video engagement data, whether it's video views, who's watched, how long they've watched for. And then with ABM, we can get into some really cool stuff too, like triggers. So if we have a decision maker, for example, who watches a high intent video, we can then maybe trigger a notification to their sales rep or even a follow-up email, that sort of thing. But then more anecdotally, it also adds a personal touch to campaigns. So in a larger email campaign, for example, it still feels very personal, very one-to-one, because you have that human-to-human connection in the email through video.
You talked a little bit, or touched a little bit on videos that you're adding, videos that you're using for ABM, and I want to get specific examples because we're all about showing and telling here on Behind the Scenes. So what specific campaigns for ABM are you most excited about? What were some of the results? And then maybe we'll show some examples.
Yeah, I have a couple to share. We've got one that's a one-to-one, one-to-few, and one-to-many. So I'll just kick it off with the one-to-one. This one, we selected only our most wanted accounts. It's always a high lift to do those one-to-one campaigns, so we really didn't select a lot. These are usually our enterprise accounts with a large white space potential to warrant that one-to-one effort, and then worked super closely with sales to get buy-in on those accounts to create personalized messaging and assets for the campaigns. And one of the goals here was to have the AE involved in this process so that that account would have a lot of familiarity with the AE's messaging face. They would know and recognize their email address. For this specific one-to-one campaign, we launched a combination of marketing and sales emails, digital ads. On these most wanted accounts, we had a BDR and an AE pair up. So the BDR was doing a lot of groundswell work with individual contributors, really trying to get some product usage within the account so that we'd have something really exciting to talk to decision makers about and to help the AE book those meetings. For this specific video example, we had a lot of success through LinkedIn InMail, and this helped us bring in additional decision makers into the conversation.
Folks, Sophie's bringing so many awesome points to the table right now. I have a million questions, but also, I mean, we're here for you as well. So if you have any questions, please add them to the comments. There are no bad questions around here. Can I share the example that you shared with me earlier?
Of course, yes.
All right. This is for the scaled Amex campaign. Can you talk a little bit about these two videos and kind of how they're different, how they're similar?
Of course, yes. So the one on the left that I think you're about to play is the one-to-one version. So we made that with the intention of getting through to that specific account. So, and then we started to see some success within that industry as a whole. We had a couple other accounts that were showing really positive indicators. So we were able to scale that one-to-one campaign into a much larger one-to-few industry-focused campaign. So maybe I can talk more on the second one in a bit.
All right, let's watch the intro to the first one.
Let's face it, Amex has had a tough couple of years due to travel restrictions and the lack of business travel. But with travel season back, you'll need ways to scale up support for your customers and make up for lost revenue. Vidyard can help.
I'm going to pause it there, and I'm going to head over to the second video. Let's see if anybody notices an initial difference, and then you can kind of reveal after.
Let's face it, travel has had a tough couple of years due to travel restrictions and the lack of business travel.
So we've already seen the difference. Any guesses from the audience? All right, Sophie, break the ice here.
Yeah, so we were pretty seamlessly and surprisingly without too much effort, we were able to switch out the word Amex for the word travel. And as you can see there, our sales rep on this video was able to maintain his facial expressions and his tone and voice as well. So it was a very seamless edit. And one of the cool things about this was that when we initially wanted to get into or to create a campaign for the travel industry, we didn't have a ton of travel-focused resources. It typically takes a quarter sometimes to spin up a whole new industry-focused campaign. And so we were able to do this in under a month just by taking that one-to-one focus campaign and scaling it out for the one-to-few use case.
You've touched on it a couple times, but I love the common thread that you're already putting so much effort into these webinars or these personalized outreach, the one-to-one, one-to-many, it takes a lot of resources. And so being able to make minor tweaks to make that content continue to work for you, I think that's a huge focus here. Talking about that campaign specifically, what kind of follow through did we see? What kind of results did you get from that specific campaign?
Yeah, of course. With a one-to-few campaign, it always stretches a lot further than the one-to-one campaign. So on the one-to-one campaign, even if we get one decision maker in on those most wanted accounts, the larger enterprise deals, it can have a huge impact on ROI. So we did see a lot of success through LinkedIn InMail on that one-to-one campaign. And then as we scaled it, of course, having a wider reach, we're able to do a lot more damage with that one video. So I think our big successes here where we were able to host the video on the travel focused landing page. That makes the landing page a lot more engaging, just having video content up there for people to watch. And we had a meeting booking link at the end of the video. So we have been getting leads coming through, even though we're not actively working on that campaign anymore. So I think that's been our biggest impact from the one-to-few campaign.
I love it. Moving kind of outside of this specific campaign, what kind of results and what kind of success are you seeing using video?
Yeah, so I love video just for overall engagement. There's so many different things I could talk about. One could even just be when we have a influx of accounts coming through, sales can't get to them all right away. So if we run a marketing campaign with a video in it, we can help the sales team prioritize who to reach out to based on who's engaging with the video. On a foundational level for ABM, all of this is going to score up to that overall account score. And so with video engagement, we're able to qualify more accounts just because video is such an engaging tool within an overall marketing strategy.
Can you talk a little bit about sales rooms and ABM and kind of how those two have worked together over recent months?
Yes, of course. So digital sales rooms are a fairly new tool. With account-based marketing, we work very closely with the sales team, and digital sales rooms have really helped us to work with sales and enable them on an account-based selling strategy. So one thing I'm starting to hear a lot more of is multi-threading. So the digital sales room for ABM is really going to help with that. If you have 50 or so as like your tier one key target accounts, it usually makes sense to have a digital sales room for each of these. You can, within the digital sales room, you can include demo videos, a welcome video, any sort of documents, PDFs, maybe your contracts. And this really helps just have everything in one place, especially if someone potentially joins the buying cycle a little bit late. It helps everyone sort of get on board and catch up with past conversations.
And you are heading up the Fast Forward program. Maybe a little bit of context as to what Fast Forward is, and as well as the recent session on rooms and kind of how those webinars continue to work after they've already been done. And
Yeah, for sure. So we have an example of a digital sales room, which we can share in the chat. That came through one of our Fast Forward webinars. So on these webinars, typically only 30% of registrants will actually join. So we still want to make use of the on-demand part of the webinar and just try and drive as many qualified leads and qualified accounts as we can. as all marketers know, webinars can be quite a big lift. So we really want to drive all of the juice that we can from that webinar recording. So within your CRM, you should be able to adjust your lead scoring for the video, and will typically, for example, qualify leads that watch maybe 50% of the video or more and surface those to sales. Really helps them prioritize which leads to reach out to after the webinar.
Thank you for elaborating on that. The link has been shared in the comments, folks. If you want to check out those videos in particular, that one's for rooms, but there's a ton of more awesome content that Sophie's been spearheading through the Fast Forward program. Now we have a new segment to touch on. Folks, we got an advice column. Advice column with Sophie Strobel. So Sophie, welcome to this new segment starring you. The people want advice. I want advice. Specifically, I want to know if you had one tip for people struggling to get started with video and ABM. Where am I starting? What am I doing? What's your top tips?
Yeah, I think there's a really common misconception that you need a ton of resources and a ton of time to get started on both ABM and video. That's not true, and there's a ton of benefit that these two bring. So I have a ton of tips on just being able to dip your toe in and just get that initial ball rolling to try and prove out the ROI of both of these. Just off the top of my head, you're probably already promoting something like a PDF or an ebook, maybe as a lead gen driver. So you might have that content gated. One thing I would recommend would be to grab a quick screen grab of you scrolling through the ebook, just so that people can see what they're signing up for, and they're much more likely to give you their information if they have an idea of what content they're going to be getting. So that's just one example. You don't need a ton of resources to just get that screen grab. Another one that we did talk about a bit before was the webinar follow-ups. So just being able to get the most juice out of that initial video, and to help qualify leads and accounts based off of the views post-webinar. And there's a ton of campaigns too that aren't technically true ABM, but they do help with the proof point if you are trying to convince your company to get started on video or ABM. So just being scrappy with getting started. One great example is a one-to-many campaign that we ran here. Essentially, when we have an influx of accounts, sales isn't going to get to them all right away. So one of the things that we've done, if the account doesn't have sales touch, it'll auto remove into a recycle stage. And so we just have a really quick 3-part drip nurture that gives engaged decision makers at those recycled accounts one last-ditch effort to get in front of sales. So this isn't true ABM, but we are targeting technically a journey stage. And just a 3-part drip nurture is an easy way to dip your toe in, and it doesn't take too much resources to get started there.
I have just added the templates, the Vidyard templates link to the chat. Everybody, if you want to learn more about some of these, or really like need a walkthrough of kind of some of the great examples Sophie just gave, that is a great resource to use. Sophie, what is your favorite video that you've seen to date?
Yeah, I think this is slightly random, but for some context, Vidyard does a about me internally. So when we have new people join the company, they get a chance to really share everything that they want to about themselves. We had one not too long ago by Jordan Abbott. So that just comes to mind. It's really fresh and top of mind. He did a music video about himself. And I thought it was just a fun way to use video to share a little bit more about yourself.
Video is definitely the best medium to like showcase your personality, and yeah, super engaging. And that I saw that video as well, that about me. So good. So good. And also I'm really happy that we do those About Me videos, because being a remote company, you still want to get to know who the new hires are and like have an entry point there for when you see them on a meeting, and they just serve as a great starting point for conversation. Favorite attention getters?
Yeah, I think the smile and wave thumbnail is my classic go-to. I think it's just so simple, but the movement in the thumbnail of the video is very attention-grabbing. My other one that I'm a sucker for is a dog in the video thumbnail, especially if you're an SDR maybe and you're trying to stand out in someone's inbox. I would highly recommend that one.
The dog in the video is also my favorite. Speaking of which, I know you are a dog mom, and I have another guest here who would like to ask a question of Jasper if he's around.
He's right here under my chair because I have a treat ready for him.
Awesome. Let's get him on. Jasper, come on, bud. Oh, sorry, bud. There we go.
So cute.
All right, this is a segment we have not done before, but I'm thinking we have to start making this a regular thing. Everybody, welcome to Wisdom Unleashed, featuring Chief Officer and the marketing manager, Laguna. Thank you both for joining us. Laguna, you said that you had a question for Jasper earlier, and so I have him on here. I think she's being a little shy, so I'm going to go ahead and ask for her. Jasper, what is the most ridiculous thing your human has ever made you do for a Vidyard video?
Jasper is a very active doggo. He likes to be on the move. He doesn't really stick around to say hi for too long. He likes to be running and active. So he hates getting scooped up like this. And to the point where he knows the word scoop. Like if I say scoop, he runs away. So this itself is one of the more ridiculous things for him to be doing.
Well, Jasper, thank you for all the attention getters that you have participated in. Laguna herself has been victim to the same treatment. There have been reindeer ears, countless videos. So we both appreciate your service, and that was Wisdom Unleashed. You are both dismissed.
All right, buddy. There you go. I had to bribe him.
All watching right now, the dogs are well compensated in TREATs. It all consensual and good. Sophie, we got so much information in such a short time that if there aren't questions, I'm shocked. But while we wait to see if anyone has any questions to submit in the comments, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be on here today. I have a number of resources that I'm going to share in the comments section, including Vidyard's great guide on using video for ABM, as well as your LinkedIn, because I know that you're always open to having a coffee chat and talking all things ABM demand gen. So folks, if you want to check out those resources, they've been shared now. And yeah, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
This was a blast.
All right. That is our time for today. Folks, thanks for tuning in. And Sophie, I'll see you on the other side.
All right. Thank you.
Happy Tuesday, everybody.